Hi, hello, hey. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, but my intention was to read this Chuck Tingle story that they wrote, um, because they actually just announced that they were going to start doing screenwriting, and just when they announced that, like the next day, there was a writer's strike, and so they wrote this quick 14-word story to help raise funds for the entertainment community funds. And I highly recommend that if you can afford it, to please Google the entertainment community fund. Go there, choose the donation page, choose film and entertainment and film and television. I mean, and make a donation if you can. Please do that. That'd be great. So I'm gonna read the author's note first. Oh, sorry. The title is called "Not Pounded by the Physical Manifestation of My Own Screenwriting Because I'm on Strike and I Deserve to Be Fairly Compensated for my labor while studio CEOs take record salaries." Author's note: Greeting, buckaroos. This tingle is given to you all for free. Apologies. In solidarity with the Writers Guild buds who are currently making their voices heard and striking with incredibly reasonable demands. The WGA is asking that any donations go to the Entertainment Community Fund, which is directly to help those in the entertainment industry in need and who will feel the financial burden of not working during the strike. As I said, this Tingler is free. However, if you have the means, you can donate. The amount a Tingler usually costs, $3 or more, if you would like, to a charity, fund, and support. For me, it's just whatever you want to donate. Even $1 would help. I really would. Okay, so here it starts with a brief description or a brief. Okay, Monica is the head negotiator for the Writers Guild, a collective of Hollywood screenwriters who are edging closer and closer. See that wording? To a full strike if the studios refuse to meet their incredibly reasonable demands. All the writers are asking for is fair treatment and compensation for their labor. But after a meeting with the greedy T-Rex CEO of Cobbler Studios goes south, a strike is called. Now Monica and her companions are marching the picket lines and making their voices heard, working together to create a better working across the film industry. Unfortunately, this puts a terrible distance between Monica and her girlfriend Holly, who happens to be the physical manifestation of her own screenwriting. With no way to process these feelings, Monica looks for solace in the writing community itself. But will these efforts be enough to battle the cruel, money-hungry CEOs? This is important. This is important. No sex tale is 4,000 words. 4,100 words of collective bargaining as laborers organized to protest a nauseating dinosaur CEO with the power of solidarity and love. I will be right back as I let the cat out real quick. An editor, I would edit that out of this final video. All right. So, not pounded by the physical manifestation of my screenwriting because I'm on strike and I deserve to be fairly compensated for my labor while studio CEOs take record salaries, by Chuck Tingle, given for free. Me. That was supposed to help? God damn it. Anyway. I remember the first time I stepped through the doors of this office, the way it felt to hear my own footsteps echoing down these hallowed halls. Hallowed halls, hard word to say. It was a surreal experience, the glorious culmination of hard work, luck, and a dream that just wouldn't go away. I always wanted to be a screenwriter. But for years that craving seemed like some otherworldly fantasy, utterly disconnected from the life I was inhabiting. Back in Montana, the screenwriting jobs are sparse, to say the least. I moved to Los Angeles after college, pushing into the film industry any way that I could. I worked on all kinds of strange jobs on set. Anything from fetching chocolate milk to helping track down a loose mongoose that scurried away before its big television debut. That's a very realistic thing that's definitely happened to somebody at some point. Those days, I was holed up in a ramshackle apartment on Van Nuys, nestled in the valley with 2 roommates and a broken air conditioner that made our summers unbearable, if not dangerous. Sorry, that's wild there. All the while, I kept hacking away at my first screenplay, a spec script about a conversion therapy camp with a dark secret. My script never sold, but there were plenty of people who enjoyed my writing enough to throw a few opportunities my way. Next thing you know, I found myself an agent, and the following screenplay was an even better received one than the first. Soon enough, I was moving out of my crappy apartment on Van Nuys and making my way into a slightly less crappy apartment on Moore Park. On Moore Park or in Moore Park? Either one, actually. Eventually, I landed. It's probably on. Eventually, I landed a position as a staff writer on a sitcom, which is where I remained until today. It's a heroic story of perseverance, but this transformation is not nearly as big as I'd like. From a writer's perspective, a full rags to riches narrative would work much, much better. But that's not the story I've got, for one simple reason. Even with all my success and everything I've accomplished, screenwriters are still not paid enough. Not even close. Fortunately, this is not an issue that I'm powerless to fight against. Thanks to the muscle of collective bargaining, the Writers Guild is taking a stand. We threaten to strike if the studios don't meet our demands, which are remarkably reasonable. They keep bringing that up. All we're looking for is a fair pay and treatment. My brain tried to go fair play like Mr. Miracle. No, Mr. Terrific's jacket. Wrong character. Okay, here we go. Actually, I should probably increase the size of it. It's probably easier to read. As the world moves towards streaming, the previous negotiations us writers made are becoming increasingly irrelevant. And the CEOs at every major studio have decided to exploit the changing media landscape for the sake of fattening their already stuffed wallets. That's a true statement. Top executives took down record salaries this year, while screenwriters and other behind-the-scenes creatives were left out to dry. Also a true statement. I'm Monica Missoula, here to see Dorvin Jorb. Okay. Dorvin Jorb. Okay, sorry. Focus. Dorvin Jorb. Okay. I'm here to see Dorvin Jorb. I announced, the secretary looking up to greet me with a warm smile. Head on in, she replies, pressing a button on her desk. As wild as it is to be part of this legendary community, walking through studio backlots responsible for some of the greatest stories ever told, there's something even more remarkable going on here. Somehow, I've not only managed to work my way through the screenwriting industry, but through the Writers Guild itself. I found myself... Where was it? I lost... Sorry, my eyes went cross. I found myself in a position of head negotiator, taking the wishes of our board and presenting them to whichever executive their side elects to do the same. I'm meeting with Mr. Jorb. Mr. Jorb today, the longtime head of Cobbler Studios, and one of the richest men in history. It's a little intimidating, sure, but I have high hopes. Like I said, our demands are not extravagant. While the possibility of a strike certainly looms above us like some creeping specter, I'm hopeful we can come to an agreement and everyone stays working. Hold on. Sorry for that interruption. Anyway. I gotta get right back in the zone. Sorry. I gotta... Oh, hi, kitty. I love you, kitty. Hi. Hi. Jorb. His name is Jorb. Alright. Somehow managed to... I'm meeting Jorb today. It's a little intimidating, sure, but I have high hopes. Like I said, our demands are not extravagant. While the possibility of a strike certainly looms above us like some creeping specter, I am hopeful we can come to an agreement and everyone stays working. A set of large double doors open before me, swinging wide to reveal a massive high-ceiling boardroom. Massive classic film posters line the wall, framed and evenly spaced. Down the middle of the room is a giant table, at the end of which sits a massive golden throne. The throne is empty. Oh, I blurt, stopping in my tracks. There must be a mistake. It looks like Dorvin's not here. He's running a little behind, the secretary informs me. Huh. It's all I can think to say, shocked by this turn of events. This is an incredibly important meeting, one that will create shockwaves through the film industry. If this doesn't go well, then tens of thousands of people will be out of the job. Yet Dorvin Jorb doesn't see the need to be on time. I stroll into the office and I take a seat near the head of the table, sitting quietly as the door slowly closes behind me. The room immediately plunges into silence. I sit staring at the wall for a while, wondering what could possibly be more important than this meeting. It gradually dawns on me that this tardiness could be a power move, setting the stage for an intense negotiation to come. But it's impossible to know for sure. My phone buzzes. My phone buzzes in my pocket while I usually wouldn't check my messages at a time like this. It appears there's nobody else around to care. I pull out the device and read my message aloud, mumbling the words under my breath. Hey, sweetheart, hope the big meeting goes well. You've got this. I can't wait for a date tonight. Love, Holly. I can't help the smile that works its way across my face, unable to suppress the love I have for this woman. Holly is a physical manifestation of my screenwriting, a beautiful living concept who takes the shape of a floating script. She's also my girlfriend. I start to respond when an unexpected sound catches my ear. It's quiet at first, but the volume escalates quickly, a strange oral pulse filling the room. Soon enough, the sound is deafening. It's right above me, hammering down on my eardrums from somewhere on the roof above. Eventually, however, the pulse slows and the mysterious sound fades away. It's only now that I realize the strange coughing was a helicopter. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun. Alright, gotta keep drinking. A minute or so passes, and then suddenly the office doors fly open. A tall, broad-shouldered T-Rex in a suit strolls. His name is Jorb. His name is Jorb, and he's a broad-shouldered T-Rex. I need a moment. Okay. A minute or so passes, and suddenly the office doors fly open. A tall, broad-shouldered T-Rex in a suit strolls in, a cell phone pressed against his ear. He doesn't acknowledge me directly as he strolls in to his seat, but indirectly is another story. He doesn't acknowledge me directly as he strolls to his seat, but indirectly is another story. I don't understand what that's trying to say. My brain's too small for that sentence, I think. Yeah, she's here, the dinosaur states loudly. I don't know, late 20s? Like a 7. Maybe an LA 4? Nah, it'll be quick. Yep, yeah. I'll see you on the course later. An LA 4? Come the fuck on. A 7 in the world's not an LA 4. A 7 around the world. It's like an LA5, all right? An LA5 is a hot lady. You don't say no to an LA5. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, T-Rex. Huh. Anyway. The T-Rex hangs up his phone and flops onto the throne. Were you just... I start and then trail off? Actually, never mind. Let's focus on the negotiations, Mr. Jorb. I'd love to hear, and before I can finish my sentence, the dinosaur interrupts me. Oh, I lost my thought. My cat moved immediately. Anyway, before I can finish my sentence, the dinosaur interrupts me. I'm not a professional reader. Give me a break here. Butting in with his loud, boisterous tone. Listen, I know you think I'm some rich asshole with endless piles of money to throw around, but that's just not the reality of the situation. Studio budgets are tight right now. We're hemorrhaging money, doing everything we can to stay afloat, even though you took in record profits. I stare at him awkwardly for a moment, shocked by the angle he's taking. You know that your salary is public, right? I question. I have a very expensive life, the dinosaur retorts. I make a lot because I spend a lot. It all evens out after taxes. Probably take home less than you. How much did you pay in taxes this year? T-Rex shrugs. I don't know. Like a bunch? You personally, I continue. Dover and Job laughs. Well, no. Personally, I paid nothing. That's just good business, though. I let a long sigh. My hopes slowly melting into a sludge of dread. Hey, we took a helicopter here, Mr. Jorb continues. I'm doing my part. I'm dumbfounded by this comment. What? I fumble. How's that being cheap? We, the dinosaur explains, we took a helicopter. Not a fleet, just a single chopper. Like we're some sort of fucking daytime news team reporting the weather. Oh, so normally you all have your own helicopters, I continue? You and the rest of the board? Then T-Rex nods in confirmation. What are we, feudal peasants? And you don't think some of the helicopter money could be used to pay riders living wage? Living wage? You seem to be pretty alive to me, Dorvin Jorb counters, excuse me. The second he says this, a brutal realization washes over me. I want so badly to make this work, to find some form of compromise between this chasm of vastly differing perspectives. But the response of this dinosaur has made one thing incredibly clear. This is not going to happen. At least not today. As this realization washes over me, my expression falters. The corners of my mouth distinctly dripping to an uncontrolled frown. I came here with the hope of sporting my best poker face, but I'm no robot. Mr. Jarber immediately notices this. Hey, don't look so glum, the T-Rex continues. We have a counter. Oh, I blurt, shocked by sudden revelation. Really? The dinosaur nods and leans down and picks up a small metal container. This chest is clean and professional looking, approximately the size of a shoebox, with a hinged lid that's currently shut tight. Dorvin turns the box towards me, pushes it across the table. This is our offer, he says. I stare down at the container, not entirely sure what to do with the unexpected olive branch. I feel like this box could sprout fangs and bite me at any moment. There's no question Dorvin Jorb is a huge asshole, but it appears he sees the same positives that we do when considering a compromise. Ultimately, neither of us want the strike to happen. I slowly open the lid and peer inside, my heart sinking when I see the contents of this tiny chamber. The box has no bottom, just an empty, gaping hole that allows me to view to the glass table below. Nothing, Mr. Jorb announces with satanic glee. We offer you nothing. I don't wait around to hear another word of this toxic snark. I abruptly stand from a chair. I'm sorry to hear that, I say confidently. The dinosaur begins to laugh as I turn to leave, his booming voice echoing behind me as I head for the door. I pull out my phone and immediately dial the other union organizers who are patiently waiting nearby. They pick up quickly. How did it go? We're striking, I report. I head back to the office. I head back to the office, make my way downstairs out to the studio back lot. The sun is hanging high in the sky, blessing me with glorious Southern California day. Unfortunately, the majesty I had felt on my way into this meeting has dissolved completely. At the same time, something new and powerful has entered my frame, imbuing my stride with a confident swagger. There's a mission before me, and while I know the next few days, weeks, months, or even years will be tough, I also know that this fight is ours to win. The studios are powerful, sure, and their pockets are deep, but ultimately, they can't produce content without us. They can certainly try, but the creative pursuit of writing is not something to be taken lightly. There's years of craft that goes into what we do, and hiring inexperienced folks to cross the picket line just isn't going to cut it. Computers stealing huge reams of data from previous screenplays won't help either. Ooh, yes. For the second time today, I begin to hear a rhythmic, pulsing sound in the distance. It grows louder and louder with every step, swelling into the calmer. There's a huge difference between this noise and the previous hum of helicopter. The chopper had been steady and constant, an automated beat without sway or cadence. It was a machine, and while it's certainly efficient, there was no heart. The swell I'm hearing now is the complete opposite. It's rhythmic, sure, repeating a specific pattern over and over again. With every round, the pattern changes slightly to reveal some fresh, inner depth. At points I think I know exactly what I'm hearing, but then it will shift into something else with incredible aptitude, crafting an entirely new mystery, sending me into another direction. There's a humanity to it, and the humanity immediately resonates. As I step out through the studio gates, I recognize what the sound is. These are the chants of the protesters who are already lining up across the sidewalk, marching their way up and down the block. It appears the other guild members have already organized. Their chanting immediately energizes me, as any residual disappointment cast aside. This wash of cheering picketers is so well juxtaposed with a drone of a billionaire CEO's helicopter that you'd think a writer planned it that way. I see what you did there, Chuck. Someone steps up and hands me a sign, which I gladly take. I scrawl my own 3-word message across one of the blank sides, then proudly hoist it up. Love is real, I begin to chant, my words joining the fray. Our group quickly grows large enough to surround the studio lot, this massive campus of sound stages and office buildings and completely encircled by protesters. I start getting word that the same thing is happening at every studio across town. Every production is shutting down in a breathtaking moment of solidarity, except for fucking Game of Thrones. It's not just guild members out here picketing either. Other unions from related fields have joined our fight. From gaffers to lighting technicians to set designers, people completely unrelated to the entertainment industry are showing up too. Folks getting off work and head over to see what they can contribute to our cause. Some supporters who don't have time to stick around and picket swing by to drop off food, a much needed contribution that helps keep the energy up. As the day wears on and the sun creeps its way across the sky, however, a horrible sinking feeling begins to return. There's something I need to take care of. The discussion is going to be very, very difficult. Eventually, I hand over my sign and excuse myself from the protest. When I get back to the apartment, Holly is there waiting for me. The physical manifestation of my own screenwriting sitting quietly at her kitchen table. Her body language is surprisingly casual, given the circumstances. But the fact that she's just waiting here in an empty house is a dead giveaway that something's wrong. Both of us know the discussion ahead of us, but that doesn't make it easier. I stop in the doorway, staring at my girlfriend awkwardly. Am I just supposed to sit here? Holly asks. Can I give you a hug? And I hesitate and I shake my head. I'm sorry, no. Holly is a floating document that sports her beautiful, smiling face on the title page. She's smart, kind, and gorgeous as ever. The love of my life sitting right there in front of me. And yet we both know what has to be done. My girlfriend tightens her lips, nodding along as she processes what I just said. The thought of denying her so much as a hug is difficult to comprehend. But here we are. Wait, why can't the tickets be on anyway. I understand, she finally replies and smiles. It's a shame. I bought some toys for date night. Looks like you'll never know what it's like to get pounded by the first 40 pages of a science fiction epic about queer space raptors settling planet Zorbus. I laugh. Well, this isn't going to last forever, I reply. Maybe we'll be together again. Just not right now. There's no doubt about it. This is the hardest part of our protest. All across Hollywood, pretty screenwriters are having the same exact discussion with the physical manifestation of their writing, which each of us is in a different phase of our career. One thing remains consistent across the entire guild. We love writing. Walking up and down the picket line for hours is tough. There's no doubt about it. At the end of the long day, your feet will hurt, and the blazing California sun will roast your skin. As time wears on, these aches will get worse. Then, of course, comes the financial toll. If you're not working, then you're not getting paid. And during these already volatile times, the last thing I need is to fall behind on several months of bills. But for me, the thing that really twists the knife is this moment right here. The look on Holly's face when I tell her that any connection between us is currently off the table. My girlfriend can see from my expression that I'm having an exceptionally hard time with this. I want you to know that I don't blame you, Holly states, a deep conviction behind her eyes. I know you just want to be treated fairly. This strikes an emotional chord surprisingly deep within. Does everyone else know that, I ask, my voice trembling slightly? Does the world think we're greedy, vindictive assholes? The physical manifestation chuckles warmly and shakes her head. Everyone knows that CEOs and top executives are fucking you over. The only people who don't think that are conservative weirdos who mumble things like get woke or go broke over and over as they wander around in their basement with melted brains posting on racist, misogynic message boards. Woo-wee! Ain't wrong, ain't wrong, ain't wrong. I sit here for a moment, letting her words sink in. Seriously, imagine having a problem with collective bargaining, Holly continues. Like, what issue could you possibly take with laborers coming to voice their opinion, fight for basic respect and dignity in their working environment? What do you want them to do instead? Not speak up? What possible ethical system could someone have where that makes any sense? Besides, the ethical system of being a fascist right-wing moron gobbling down pig slop from some dingus talking head who moans and cries at the loss of traditional masculinity all day. I smile. You really do have the way of words. I'm literally words, Holly replies, so that makes sense. I want so badly to hug her right now, so I pull her close and escape into a world of action, adventure, and intrigue. For two of us to have processed so many feelings together, worked side by side, and now that support system is gone. An unexpected chime suddenly rings through the air, drawing our attention to the door of our apartment. We exchange glances, neither of us expecting guests this evening, and I stand and approach the door. Who is it? I call out. Just wanted to come by and introduce myself, an unfamiliar voice replies. I'm Tina. I cautiously gaze to the people staring out into the dim light of the evening to see another living script floating before me. Tina is not exactly threatening in her appearance, but there's something about her that just seems off. This physical manifestation is ripped, torn around the edges, and at first I think her pages might be stained with raspberry jam or some familiar food. The closer I look, however, the more I realize these blotches are massive scabs that dot her form. She's here to coax me into breaking the picket line. If you're not busy tonight, I thought you might want to go check out a writer's workshop or something. Tina calls to the door. Maybe a coffee shop? We don't have to write unless... She trails off. I mean, I've got this book about a car counting billionaire, jet plane. I was just thinking of adapting. The studio is willing to hook up. You open some rights. I don't think so, I reply. Gazing past her, I can see more of these haunting, zombie-like strips floating around unfinished drafts, looking for someone to spruce them up. The studios sent these projects out into the wild, desperately searching for any scraps of content they can find. This is going to be a long journey. As my feet pound the pavement outside the Cobbler Studios, I think back to where it all began, my mind turning over the circumstances that led to this moment, a sad meander down memory lane. It's been 50 days since the strike began, and despite my steady face and proud stride, momentum is starting to wane. Every step I take feels it feels a little heavier than the last. My mind forcing my body to add slightly more force. I just want to keep things even in balance, while others in the picket line are still cheering and chanting the songs of protest. My voice has gradually fallen from the mix. My throat is hoarse now, just like mine in real life. Shredded from the raw months of hollering from the street corner. Most of all, I miss Holly. Something clenches in my body, halting me in my tracks, and I'm standing awkwardly in the middle of the sidewalk. My gaze lowers as a wobble from side to side. My head throbs with the potent vision blurring. Oh no, I groan, suddenly realizing I'm seconds away from collapsing. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Are you all right? Someone asks, placing a hand on my shoulder. I slowly look up and then jump back in alarm, shocked to see the face before me. My instinctual reaction is to assume I'm staring at Holly, this physical manifestation bearing a shocking resemblance, but I start to realize this is not actually the case. The floating script before me looks a lot like my girlfriend, but they're clearly not one and the same. If anything, they're related. I'm sorry, I fumble. I thought you were someone else that I'm not supposed to talk to. Physical manifestation of your screenwriting? Floating document with questions. I nod. Yeah, you look just like her. Funny you should say that, she retorts and laughs. I'm the living concept of another writer's work, but they're deeply influenced by you. The name's Molly. There's a bunch of us out here today. I turn my gaze to the crowd and realizing now that a whole new mob of picketers has joined the fray. They all sport similar features of my writing, evolving through the hard work of other screenwriters to create something new and inspiring. Oh my God, I stammer. This is incredible. That's the thing about art, Molly states. It doesn't just wield power in the present, it also wields power in the future. I got goosebumps. Thanks, Chuck. Jesus. That's why all the suits were doomed from day one. I can feel tears forming in my corner. God damn it. I really got goosebumps there. Corner of my eye, the emotional weight of this moment overwhelming my senses. If you create with love, that creation is never going to disappear. It might change shape over time or progress into something fresh, but it never goes away completely. The emotional charge within me suddenly transforms into physical action, pushing my feet onward. I start marching again, hoisting my sign a little higher than before. Seconds later, there's a loud clang as the studio gates drift open. A feeble little dinosaur hobbles out. The protest slow to stop. All the chanting and chatter dying down as we turn to observe the strange, prehistoric creature. The T-Rex is gaunt and sickly. His scales are particularly delicate shade of gray. His assistant hurries over and hands the dinosaur a microphone, then scales away. It's only when the dinosaur speaks that I realize that his voice immediately pulling me back to that first meeting with the head of Cobbler Studios. This is Dorvin Jorb. In the last 50 days, it has aged a whole 50 years. We concede, the dinosaur sighs, already short of breath, after all these two words. The studio is prepared to meet your demands. The crowd immediately erupts in the chorus, and of wild applause, thrilled by the news. Energy surges through me as I leap up and down and pumping my fist in the air. It was a difficult battle, but at the end of the day, it looks like our struggle was worth it. Hey girl, comes a familiar voice from behind me. How's that about that date? I turn to find that Holly has manifested next to me. I miss you so much, I sigh, wrapping my arms around her in a triumphant embrace. We've got so much to write about. No. Is there a spider or something? Shit, sorry. What? No. Okay, sorry. I miss you so much, I sigh, wrapping my arms around her in a triumphant embrace. We've got so much to write about. Not pounded by my physical manifestation. Okay, anyway. That's it. That's the whole story. Literally ran out of words. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody. That was fun. I'm going to stop this recording.